Okay, let's try this again. Hello, and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show today. Okay, so I think it's going to be an interesting topic tonight, and it is going for the goal and how to do it. You know, many times we get these ideas of I want to do this, and I'm gonna pick on our good friend Deb. You know, she wants to redo her planting beds, and keeps trying to get me to come help her, which is not happening, Deb. Just in case you were wondering, and you're there listening. But we get an idea of what we want to do, and we just ruminate about it and we just stare at it and we think about it, but we don't really take any forward motion. We end up totally paralyzed in our own energy, in our own stuff. And we look at this project and we just can't start. And there are a number of things that can keep us in that unable to move forward place. You know, sometimes our wheels are just rusty. You know, we haven't done something in a long time. And not that this is a goal, and I'm not trying to express it this way, but dating kind of falls into this category. So let's say you've been married for a really long time and you get divorced, or you're in a relationship for a very long time, and you get the feeling like, well, you know, I think it's time for me to start dating again. But it's like you can't, you don't know how, because the wheels have gotten rusty inside, because it's a skill set that you really haven't used in a really, really, really long time. And the same thing goes with goals. It's like if we haven't really pursued doing things, then those wheels can get rusty. And not that it's impossible to overcome, but it takes more energy, it takes more momentum, it takes us kind of greasing the wheel so we can move forward in the project. But usually once we get those wheels moving, things move forward really good along. And this is especially true in people that were goal oriented and had that skill set in the past, but now it's just kind of not working for them. One of the other things that can get in the way of us moving forward toward our goal is fear. We might sit there and go, okay, well, I want to do this, and then we become paralyzed in our own fear. And fear, you know, fear is a good thing. Fear says, well, wait a minute, stop and take a look, and it's a warning, but it shouldn't necessarily be a stop sign. You know, because sometimes the thing that we want to do, we're really not supposed to be doing it. You know, it's a something that seems good and like, oh, well, maybe I should do that now. But the reality is it might not be. It might be the ego talking. It might be somebody else making a comment that we're picking up on that vibration and wanting to move it forward, but it's really not our goal and it's really not for us. And that can manifest as fear. But there's a lot of different reasons why fear might peek its head. One of the things that I like to suggest to people is if you're feeling afraid, acknowledge it, be mindful of it, you know, and say, okay, I'm afraid, but what do I need to do now? And what do I need to do next? You know, kind of take the fear and put it on the shelf over there and have it just kind of hang out with you as you start moving forward. The other thing that can keep people from going for the goal is that they're feeling overwhelmed. Now, that overwhelmed feeling might be from fear, but it might be that they're looking at this thing and going, oh my God, how am I going to achieve that? Because they're going from point A to point Z all at one time. And when you do that, it does just leave you with an overwhelming feeling. So here's the what to do part. If there's something that you really want to do, I have a lot of clients who come to me and there's things they want to do. They want to straighten up their house. They want to paint a room. They want to do stuff, but they don't. They just sit and stare at it and then feel guilty because they haven't done these things that they've been thinking about for months or years, literally years. So the first thing is take a breath. Take a nice deep breath and quiet your mind and ask yourself, is this really right for me? Kind of knock that out of the park. Or is this right for me to do at this point in time? But become mindful of, again, is this an ego thing or is this something that is being given to you from spirit? Because if it's being given to you from spirit, even though you might not be moving forward, there's a really good feeling tied to it. There's an aliveness, a passionateness that is wanting to propel you to move forward. And then it hits your own stuff and it kind of gets stopped. But there is this good feeling about it versus a sense of dread. And if you're thinking about doing something and you're getting a sense of dread, separate out. Is it this fear? Is it the overwhelm? Or maybe I'm not supposed to be doing it in the first place, which is an okay thing, because then you can just scratch it off the list and go, okay, I'm just not doing that. And that's fine. Again, check out if you're scared. And then the other thing, and one of the most important things that I find with people is that feeling of overwhelm. And here's the trick. Here's just a secret with all of this, the fear, the overwhelm, all of it. Even if it's not something you're supposed to be doing, sometimes when you start taking steps to achieve it, you also get clarity with it. So my recommendation is take smaller steps. Break down the project. Instead of going from A to Z, go from A to B. Go from A to A 1.1 to A 1.2. Whatever that step is for you. Ask yourself, well, what can I do today? Or what can I do right now? Sometimes just making a phone call or looking up something online is a step moving forward. So it doesn't have to be this big thing that you're doing and this overwhelming achievement that you're accomplishing in one single day. It could be something that simple. It could be sorting out the papers that you need to go through to work on a project. Whatever it is, break it down into small parts. I'm going to dish here. So I have a client who has moved into a house a number of years ago, and there are just boxes still laying around that haven't been unpacked. And it frustrates her because there's boxes laying around that still haven't been unpacked. And I told her, I'm like, you're overwhelmed by all the boxes. I go, so pick one box a day, pick one box a week that you go through, decide if you're going to keep the stuff, put the stuff away, make some decision and unload that box, because every small step will move you closer to your goal. It'll get you out of park or neutral or whatever place you're in and get you closer and closer to that thing that you want. Because really, if it's a goal, or something that you're being led to by spirit, it's what's going to give you happiness. It's what's going to make you feel good. So why beat yourself up for not doing it if it's something that you kind of really want to do or that's important to you? Which I always find interesting. It's like, okay, I'm beating myself up for not doing this, but I'm not doing it. So, and what you'll find is if you go and do it, then you won't be beating yourself up over it anymore. And that inner critic that's saying, oh, whatever it's saying, will finally have a chance to go away. Um, but these smaller steps will make it easier for you to digest and for you to accomplish what you're trying to do. So my question to you is, what do you have to do, and what small steps can you take to take this project, this goal, this inspiration, and start moving it forward? Okay. And that's today's Soul Healer moment. And as always, this show is brought to you by me, Dr. Rita Louise at soulhealer.com. If you'd like to schedule a private consultation, just go to my webpage, soulhealer.com, and reach out to me. Check all the stuff out there, which is fun. It's also brought to you by the Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. And you can go to that webpage and download the free 50-page Jumpstart Your Intuition guide that will give you practical hands-on tools to start opening the door to your intuition. If you're listening to this show in a recorded format, on Rumble, Twitter, Substack, BitChute, wherever I post it, or on Facebook, and you haven't made it to the live, the easiest place to join in and get a free on-air psychic reading or join the chat is by going to my YouTube page. And that's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. On Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central, click the live link and it will open up the chat room for you. Okay. So let's get the